Hello, you're listening to Unity Xtra with myself, Kemi Rodgers, and I'm joined in the studio by a very special guest, Kaine Francesco. How are you?
Hello, I'm great, thank you, Kemi. How are you?
Good. I'm very happy. Are you ready for Christmas?
I am absolutely ready for Christmas. I wasn't, but now actually it's getting it's only a few days till, isn't it?
Only 4 days. You've got to get cracking.
Absolutely.
You've got to get cracking. So you're here to talk about your new album, Up
Yes.
High. It's very, very exciting. When did it come out?
It came out on the 9th of December.
Okay.
Everywhere, so Spotify, iTunes, all of that.
Yeah.
It's been out now for a week, and it took about a year and a half to make.
Was that from the start of your first song, or, did you sit down and just think, I'm going to write an album, or had you already had sort of ideas for songs in the back of your head, and then you just got so many, you thought, well, why not make this into an album?
Well, I've been writing songs since I was 14, 15, and actually the last song on the album is one that I wrote when I was 15.
Really?
And I'd written this chorus and and for about 7 years I never found the verse, and then the last thing it kind of slot together, and I thought it was perfect to end the album because it's kind of a reflection of where you can go on a little voyage. And
Definitely.
no, I just I moved to London, in North London, and there was this kind of old 100-year-old piano in my front room, and I'd just go and sit down and start writing some tunes. And then my amazing producer, Finn Sally, who lives in France, he was I was just sending him iTunes memos, and he was like, dude, let's make an album, So then we started, and it's actually on the Up High, the title track, is when I thought, actually, this is where it's coming together, and it's going to be like an opus, if you want.
That's so exciting.
Yeah.
And so one thing I've noticed listening to the album is you're not afraid to be quite raw and emotional. And I just want to recite one particular lyrics. You say, it hurts me to say I should have thrown it all away when you told me you hated my music. And how do you feel knowing that everyone who's listening to the album is knowing sort of intimate details of your life? Is it very cathartic, or is it a bit oh wow, I'm really opening myself up here?
I actually hope you bring this up, because I was thinking about it, and as a man, as a gay man in society as well, it's really easy to want to kind of show those, put those things in a closet, if you want. And I've just been noticing there's such a problem with masculine vulnerability in society at the moment. And when I'm sitting there, actually, when the album came out, I thought, oh crap, I put a lot of, I went deep, and there's quite a few, like you said, things that hurt me. But there's, it does feel really cathartic, and I think it's so important to kind of be vulnerable, because then it gets the story going, and it might, it might make people want to open up as well, because I'm still here, my secrets are out or not, but I'm still here, and people are coming up to me and saying wow, thanks for sharing this. And I think vulnerability, especially for men, is so, so important today.
Yeah, oh God, definitely. And obviously, in the moment you're writing it, I guess you were writing at the time where you were very sad and upset, and now you're singing these very sad lyrics, which meant a lot to you and still do, but in a much happier place. You've got your album coming out, you're getting so much recognition. How is it singing, going back to the time when you were in a lot of pain and then performing it for everyone, but in a good time in your life? How is that?
It's funny, because that's the beauty about music, isn't it? Whenever you hear a song, it takes you back to that moment, and it's kind of like being an actor in a way. It's I say that it's this album's like a Polaroid of my last 2 years. And sometimes the song Black Friday or Two Lovers, as you mentioned, it's there's some anger there, and I can feel it, but in a way I'm taking that skin, I'm putting it back on, but I know I can take it back off. I know that having written that, it's kind of done a full circle, started it, I've kind of exposed it, and then I can come back and I can reuse that emotion. But definitely in a better place.
Oh, that is so good. So what sort of themes do the whole album sort of travel through?
Yeah. So actually the whole thing, so when you're a songwriter and you write on one instrument, it's quite hard to kind of imagine such a possibility. My producer Finn was like, oh, what sound are we going for? And actually, while we were finding the sound, I actually found my own sound, which was kind of anything. And this concept of Up High was born, which was a sort of a boy on his piano in the North London who kind of, through MIDIs, electronic music, and all this possibility, can actually go as far as a space or anything. So there are some acoustic tracks on there where it's just raw, as you said, and then there are some electro tracks, some kind of some synths, some real violins, some fake violins, some real beats, drum beats, some fake ones, fake, electric. but and so I just actually, while looking what could I do, I found actually you can do anything with today's technology, and that's what I thought. recording the whole album in my bedroom can show like, yeah, we can kind of do it, you know.
That's just incredible. And I also think it's very, very inspiring to record in your bedroom, because listening to the track, and we're going to play Lovely People next, you just wouldn't think it whatsoever. You know, when you were thinking, I'm going to start an album, were you thinking, oh God, how am I going to pay for the studio time? Or had you always believed we can make the sound that we want to make right here where the idea was sort of born?
Yeah, and I think there's so much pressure, and I might get told off for this, but there's so much pressure to go to studios and find labels and all that. But you hear like the horror stories of kind of getting your creativity squashed down, and like this has just been a year, and it was just me, Finn, We Transfer, and like, dude, I've written these songs, you know, what can we do? And thanks to technology these days, you can do whatever you want. So that's kind of what's incredible about it. And you know, like living in a place like London, it's so inspiring. Every day I could write a song nearly every day about little things. So the track you were talking about, Lovely People, was actually about a public display of affection, and kind of arriving in the winter in London and thinking I'm in a city of 10 million people, and like you can feel so lonely. So it's kind of a letter to someone who doesn't exist yet, like, can't you be my lovely person? So
oh, that's so exciting. So we're going to play it now. Would you like to introduce it?
Yeah, so hi, my name's Kaine Francesco, and this is Lovely People.
Tell you my thought, if I could get a look back, if I give you my rose, could you put me on the right track? You know that I love what you're doing to me, honey. So if you just say the word, we could be lovely people in the world. Lovely people, what a world. Yeah, I know that love hurts, but that's none of your business. Can we just go? I've had enough of you look so suspicious. Get real close to me, honey. Let me in, I know you sleep with honey. Let them burn like paper money. 'Cause what we have is so lovely. I tell you my thought, if I could get a look back, and I give you my rose, if you put me on the right track. I tell you a joke, but it wouldn't be funny. How can we both grow old? We're both such lovely people in the world. Lovely people, what a world. Yeah, I know that love hurts, but it's none of your business. Can we just go? I've had enough of you look so suspicious. Get real close to me, honey. Let me in, I know you sleep with honey. Let them burn like paper money. 'Cause what we have is so lovely. Me. All of the lovely people, they're all such lovely people. All of the lovely people, lovely people.
UNITY Unity Xtra.
So we are back in the studio with Kaine Francesco. How are you?
I'm amazing, thanks.
How was it hearing that song on the radio?
Yeah, no, it was really, really cool. Actually, it was nice. I was like, oh, who's that person? It's hard to believe. Yeah,
who the sultry sound on the Unity Xtra right now? It's you.
It's me,
so
yeah.
during the break, we were sort of talking about, radio stations playing on-side music and stuff. How important is that signing or that recognition in the musical industry? I mean, for you, obviously, you just started out. You've managed to pull an album together. I don't know how I'd ever do that. How do you go forward then? What do you do? Do you tour it? Do you do shows? Are you seeking sort of, signing?
Yeah, I mean, I think everyone is, because that's kind of like the stability. It's like being a freelancer or getting a contract. It's kind of like, well, I could have fun and just do what I want, or I could eat in the month. Like being a musician, is very hard, especially when you have to have another job. But you want to do it when you can go home after a 12-hour shift and sit for 4 hours and write a few more songs.
That's a shift.
Yeah, that's definitely a shift. But yeah, no, absolutely. I think it is definitely important. But I think there's so many indie kind of record labels and so many unsigned art in London and so many great musicians, anywhere you go at the drop of the hat. So it does feel like you're a small fish in a big pond. But I think as long as you kind of stick true to yourself, that's what people want. They don't want spit outs of new people, old kind of cutouts, but new stuff. So I'm just trying to be myself and kind of. But yeah, I had my first album launch in North London.
How was it?
It was amazing. It was so good. So many people came, and it was on a Monday. So
oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, and sold some CDs and just kind of got to perform them for the first time. Because as I said, this whole album has kind of been like just me in my bedroom writing them and recording them, and now they're actually out and alive. And
how is it performing tracks that you've born in your bedroom? As you say, you've got everyone into your bedroom to record. You're not even set for, and then taking it to a stage, trying to recreate that sound in that moment for a live audience. How does that differ? Yeah,
it's different, but at the same time, same. I feel like I'm inviting people into my bedroom to kind of just jam along, but no, yeah, it is different, but it was amazing. I was quite scared about what's this going to be like, but it was really great. People could, I felt like I'd heard the songs, but they'd heard the songs before. It felt like, I always say when you write a song, it's like the song has been born to write and you're just helping it come to life. So wherever it is, in a studio or a bedroom, did it sound like that was in a bedroom?
Definitely not. Definitely not. It just sounded, I was so shocked when you told me it was in a bedroom, because it's just such a big sound. And I'm just so impressed that you managed to even think of having such a big sound. Because a lot of, people just say, oh, I bought in my bedroom. It's just, one man and his guitar and it's small sound, but you've got big room sounds.
Yeah, well, exactly. That's the thing. I never once let myself think that I was going to actually constrain myself, kind of squash myself, because in my head there was an orchestra. Every day I walk down the street and it's like an orchestra in my head, so I kind of made it into an orchestra in my bedroom. And literally I met this amazing viola player, Bex, her name is, and we met at Pride. I just said, oh, your skirt's beautiful, and she was like, I play viola. 3 weeks later she was in my bedroom, same with a lovely violinist, Rachel, and it was just a little patchwork of loads of people I've met over the last 2 years, which made it even more special for me, because every song kind of has, oh, she did this, oh, this person did that, they helped arrange. It's been a lot of people have helped, but essentially, me and Finn just kind of made this orchestra in our head in a bedroom.
So you had the vision for it, is it safe to say?
Yeah, definitely.
So obviously we're coming to the end of 2018. Who are the artists? I'm going to ask you about your sort of all-time life artists, but who are the people that you've been listening to this year that you've been really impressed by?
Really impressed by? So many people. I must say, Lady Gaga, coming back with A Star Is Born.
That was something, wasn't it? I did not expect that.
My God, no. And just actually, I think her message sort of just kind of being who you are after all these years, and kind of saying, yes, we had a mask, but that's what society was putting on herself. I absolutely love Florence the Machine's High as Hope. I think that she just represents London so much and kind of just brings that whole kind of body. And as I said, I'm actually so excited to just go around London more and maybe not turn off your radio, but turn off a few radios and just go out and meet new artists that are, because there are some just phenomenal ones around London. I think they really need to be exploited.
Definitely. That's what we're doing here on Unity Xtra. So tell me about the influences for this album, the influences on your entire life.
Yeah.
Who are those artists?
Well, I grew up in France. So it's kind of a mix between. I kind of just remember listening to ABBA, Shania Twain in the car.
The greats.
The greats, exactly. Teaching me harmonies, and apparently by the age of 5, I knew the whole lyrics to ABBA's Gold Greatest Hits, at 5. But other than that, Kate Bush is someone I look up to so much, because she, especially in today's world, she just from the start was I'm gonna be my own thing. She was the first woman to have written, produced, and performed a #1 ever in the world on top of the pops, and continue to make music over 40 years, 4 decades, kind of new stuff. So those kind of people, Fleetwood Mac, I've been really influenced by kind of just that raw kind of 70s, 80s Californian vibes. So many people, as I said, Lady Gaga, lots of modern, a lot of women actually.
I've noticed that. Yeah.
I've always preferred female voices actually, which is funny because then I've got a male one. That's probably what kept my voice quite high. But also influenced a lot by people like Maria Callas, an opera singer, Edith Piaf, just kind of dramatic. Anything that's dramatic and gets you shiver crawling. I love kind of beats, and I love hip hop as well. And I sometimes listening to Rihanna. Queen.
Oh my god.
Just to boogie on down. But I do love myself a good sad ballads.
Well, I was going to ask actually, because on the next track, and certainly a couple of tracks on your album, I do sort of notice a hip hop sort of R&B drum beat, and I just wanted to ask, some of the tracks, you could easily have this entire album as just a sort of one long ballad. It can be quite slow, but you've chosen to sort of add a poppiness, a bit of upbeat. Was that a conscious decision to sort of bring it up? Because a lot, I really find it funny because sometimes when you're listening to a song and it's a great song, you're dancing around to it, and the third time you listen, you realise the lyrics are actually really, really sad. And you're like, I'm singing really, really sad lyrics and shaking my booty at the same time. I get that sense from your... Was that a conscious decision?
Yeah, definitely a conscious decision. I unfortunately tend to be more influenced by sadness. I just don't know why. Whereas I'm
You're very Adele, the great Sam Smith, the great star.
The great star. Also, I really got into Lana Del Rey last year, hugely, and I just love how she probably inspired me a lot on the whole kind of adding some trip beats, to a kind of 60 BPM song, to add that and just mix. It just gives it a bit more of a modern feel and kind of brings that to life. And my producer Finn, he's in so many bands that range from reggae, hip hop, touring all over France and Spain, and we just really meshed together, and we'd be yes, I could do a kind of piano voice like an Adele album, but that's the whole, I wanted to really push my kind of things, and we've already written a few new ones, some new bangers that are a bit more kind of like you said, a bit
I love it. It's such big sound. So we're going to play Black Friday. Would you like to tell us a little bit about this track and introduce it?
Yeah, Black Friday I wrote a year ago, and it's got nothing to do with the commercial date, but if anyone wants to use it next year.
Sponsorship deals.
It's actually about 2 exes. The first verse is about one. It's kind of reflecting about how long it took to get over this guy, and actually how then I met someone and I thought, you're going to help me get over this guy, and then before it even started, after kind of leading me on for a year, kind of broke my heart again. So it's kind of this kind of, I just came back on Black Friday and sat down. It felt like a very dark day, which is why Black Friday, and I just was for God's sake, I feel like I'm only just getting over the other person, and now you've broken my heart. It's kind of like a
Definitely.
song, but it's got a cool groovy vibe.
It really has. And I find myself singing and dancing along to it, and like you say, I'm like, actually the lyrics are quite sad and quite painful.
I really like that. I want for my albums to be listened to more than once, and listen to the little lyrics, because everything was a conscious decision, and I do think that there's so much joy and kind of creativity in taking something sad, making it happy, or and kind of changing it up a little bit.
Okay, should we listen to it? Should we do it?
Listen to it, yeah.
This is Black Friday on Unity Xtra.
Swear it feels like yesterday. I was crying on his shoulder 'cause he told me it was over. The time it took to heal again could have been a million days. Now it feels like yesterday, because I remembered crying 'cause he'd been lying and I didn't know where to go. When I thought I'd be smiling, you hit me like lightning and there's nothing else left to show. I thought that I'd be fine, had loving on my mind, but you had a chance to be. To go out to heal, some time for me to feel like I had a chance to be. Now my heart feeling blue, 'cause the way did it on you. Such a pity, boy, you've got me hard in my heart, my heart, my heart, my heart. I swear it feels like yesterday I was crying on her shoulder 'cause you told me it was over. A funny kind of sad today 'cause it stopped right at the start. Fell in love and broke my heart again. I remember crying 'cause you gave up trying and now you're on your own. 'Cause you had me smiling but you've left like lightning and now the curtains close. I thought that I'd be fine, had loving on my mind, but you had a chance and waited. To go out to heal, some time for me to feel like I had a chance to be. Now my heart feeling blue, 'cause the way did it on you. Such a pity, boy, you've got me hard in my heart, my heart, my heart, my heart. Black Friday, Black Friday, my heart. Black Friday, Black Friday, my heart. Black Friday, my heart. Black Friday's gonna come round soon. Black Friday's gonna come round for you. Black Friday's gonna come round soon. Black Friday.
Unity Xtra.
We are back in the studio with Kaine Francesco. That was Black Friday on Unity Xtra. How was that for you?
That's amazing.
That is a banger. I love it. I love it. And I know what you mean about those sort of Lion's Array influences and it's putting the beat on. I just think it's absolutely incredible.
It's all about synths and beats, man. Honestly,
It really is.
yeah. And these like chords like kind of make me think of like Wicked Games. No, I don't wanna fall in love.
Yeah.
Black Friday. Could do a medley.
Oh my God, I definitely think you should. You should head her up.
Totally.
So how has this whole journey been for you? Like, where did it all start? You know, the whole, well, maybe I could be a singer one day.
Yeah.
How did that begin?
Probably like when I was like 4 or 5. Apparently I was singing before I was talking, which is cliche.
That
but that's
doesn't
what my mum
surprise
said.
me.
Yeah. And then I grew up in the middle of France, in the middle of nowhere, like very countryside. And I always would sing, and I used to get up on, like school fetes, and I'd like organise backing singers. I'd have like 10 of my girls behind, and we did like All Good Things Come to an End by Nelly Furtado, and
That's a banger.
it's such a banger, and like to this day, and I was just like, and I always just liked like organising stuff and like being like, yeah, okay, we're gonna do this, and a lot of people were like, you know, what do you want to be? I was like, a singer, and then they're like, well, you might not be because you live in the middle of nowhere, and I did a degree and kind of went to uni, but I always was known as like the singer, and then I actually had a dream one day that I was on my deathbed and my family were around me and were like, such a shame you didn't try.
Oh, wow.
No, honestly, and I woke up and I was like, okay, I've got to try. Like,
That's a sign.
It is,
That is
yeah.
one of those dreams that come to you in a sign. I remember I listened to an interview with Paul McCartney, and he was saying that there was a dream, and his mother sort of came to him and said, you know, you can do this, and then that was like it was for yesterday, I think it was like, and he came out with that, and it's just like it's one of those dreams that will never he'll never ever forget.
Exactly.
Was that a moment for you? You'll never ever forget. I'm born to do this, so I'm going to do it.
Absolutely. And the thing is, like, it's so easy to let your doubts kind of get the best of you. But I think, like, you need to stop trying to compare yourself to everyone else and just think, I am unique in my own way. And if I let my own self-doubts kind of block that, the channel will be shut. But you need to, like, keep the channel open. So I definitely think that. And then when I kind of thought, I came to London, I think subconsciously I thought, if anything's going to happen, I need to put myself out there.
Yeah.
And, it went from, just writing songs on the piano and just, actually, to be honest, I need to thank Finn Sally, my producer, because he just believed in me, man. And he was like, look, I think you can do it. And, without that, he must have put up with so many tantrums of like, I'm not good enough. Like, who wants to listen to me with my little lisp and stuff, whatever. And, like, he was just like, shut up, write a song. Let's do it, And now people like and it's so hard to keep it all under wraps for a year. But I'm so glad we did, because so many people put stuff out all the time. But I really worked on this to make it an opus. And now I can move on and get on to the next stuff. And I'm so excited for that. But yeah, I need to thank people like that. My mum, my dad, everyone who's always supported me musically and kind of let me get up on the stage and sing. But yeah.
That's incredible. So talking about, what's next for you, obviously 2019, you've got this album out. Are you going to plan to do a few shows around this album? Where are you on having new songs? Are you going to have a bit of a break, or are you going to go straight back into it?
No breaks. I wrote
no
some
rest
last
for the
night.
wicked.
No, absolutely. No, it's not. I don't see it as work for me. It's just it comes I'll be in Sing the Body Electric, one of my songs, the chorus, I was singing it on the bus. Lovely people as well. So many bus songs that were written on the bus. But and no, there won't be a break. And I've already got a few songs that are written that we're going to demo, and we're really excited. Over Christmas, when I go back to France, we're going to start demoing some new stuff. But we definitely want to use this album, because we'd be stupid to just be like, here's 12 tracks and now next. So we're going to definitely pump it for what it's worth, and we'll be gigging around London, and everyone can follow everything on my social medias, which is Kaine Francesco, and we're just going to try and do some gigs and try and get a bit of attention for it, because I think it deserves a bit of
I definitely think it does.
Love.
I think it definitely deserves a bit of love. So before we close off this interview, do you just want to remind the listeners again where they can buy your album and what it's called?
Absolutely. So you can buy my album on iTunes for $7.99. It's Kaine Francesco, so Kaine Francesco.
It's like a spelling bee.
Yeah,
I love it. Ding ding.
And you can get it on Spotify as well. But you can also, I've got 200 physical copies, which actually, Kemi, I have one for you here in my coat.
I do. Yeah. Oh my God, thank you so much.
Of course, I love. And you can actually DM me or PM me, slide into my DMs.
They are open.
They are open, and I'm selling CDs for just £15.
Well, the artwork is beautiful, actually. Before we close off, who did the artwork?
The artwork was done by Finn Sally's mother, artist
Very
mother,
talented.
Chrissy Sally, beautiful Chrissy Sally, sorry. And I was just like, I've got all this urban kind of, for anyone who can't see, because this is radio, it's a picture of my face, and there's buildings coming up, and then stars and moons in my face.
There's a little bird in your head as well, sort of dreaming of the stars. Absolutely. And it really fits in with the whole.
And I just told Chrissy, I was like, I've got all this kind of on earth fantasy, I want to kind of, and she did this in 10 minutes, that sketch.
10 minutes?
10 minutes, and I was
Beautiful.
Done.
That's it.
Done.
We are sold. Anyway, thank you so much for coming on the show. Have a very Merry Christmas.
Yeah, Merry
and
Christmas
a good New Year. And we'll see you gigging.
Absolutely.
And album number 2, 2019.
Yeah, why not? Let's do it. Thank you so much.
Okay, stick around. After 1 p.m, I'll be bringing you my Artist of the Week on Unity Xtra.
I used to be so happy, but with